the voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purpose, and this is Pro Football Sweden, presented by Rayer Athletics. This is our first season going all in on Sweden, so feel free to comment and send messages about how we're doing, trying to make this the best show for you guys possible. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Shallow Juice and Antoine Allen. What's going on, fellas?
What is up, baby?
What's good, Purvis? What's good, Alpha?
What's
Hey
up,
man,
my
we got a
guys?
good one today, guys. A good one. Thanks to our partners at American Football in Finland, Improve Athletes, and Pro Football Sweden. The PFS podcast is brought to you everywhere you get your podcasts, and you can see us visually here on our YouTube channel. Wherever you listen or watch, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get into some football. All right, it's first quarter here on the PFS pod. Let's talk energy from last week's game. What was positive? What was negative? What gave us energy? Antoine, we'll start off with you. You got a positive or a negative? What you want to go with?
I'll go with the positive first. So we're doing a good job because during my game, I had a player from another team. He was like, after one play, he was like, "Hey, good job on the podcast." And tell everybody on PFS that I said what's up. I was like, "Okay, cool, man. That's what's up."
What's his name? Who are we talking about? I don't know.
I don't know his name, but he's a DB from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, he played on the other team.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm getting his name for a second. Pedro.
Yeah,
Pedro.
yeah.
Oh, Pedro from Goldberg.
Yeah,
Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
what up, Pedro? What up,
yeah,
baby?
he was like, "Yeah, you guys are doing good on the pod." So that was a positive. So we got people listening, and players are feeling confident enough to come up during games and stuff and be like, "Hey, man, you're doing a good job. We listen, blah blah blah, XYZ." So that's good. A negative I got.
Hold on, before you go to your
that's
negative,
you're positive. Someone giving us good feedback.
Yeah.
I want to jump on your positive because your positive is kind of like my positive.
Okay.
Before you get to your negative, I want to throw out my positive. I mean, I guess we can all throw out positive first. I mean, why not? My positive is that teams and players are listening to the podcast like intently, and I'm specifically talking about the Crusaders, the Carlstad Crusaders, and their game plan. You see that they went into this last game that they played, and they specifically catered to their weakness. They're like, okay, our quarterback is garbage, but if we have him do short throws, very short throws, and get it to our really good receivers, we can get a lot of statistics and yards for him. And every once in a while, once he got his confidence up, let him roll out, throw an easy crosser down the field, and get all this yak, and then put up these huge numbers. That's great. I mean, it's not going to change my assessment that he's garbage, but I do agree, and I'm glad that people are listening to what we're saying. They're like, okay, we do have a quarterback problem, and they fixed it. And that's a good organization that they did what they needed to do because they're all in on, hey, this is our guy. So they did what they did to boost him up and elevate his spirits, improve his stats a little bit, and get them a quality win. I'm for it. I'm glad y'all are listening. Because if you weren't listening, you would have lined them up, tried to do difficult concepts, tried to air it out, and then run the ball, and then he would have been like 50% like all the other games. But no, they made sure that they, gave him his little baby bottle of milk, gave him the easy reads, the easy plays, and let his team play good. And that's what Carlstad needs to do to win the championship. So I like it. But I really feel like they had to been listening to the podcast to do that. Like we're the only people that were saying, like, hey, y'all got an issue, and they went and fixed the issue. So it's good on them, but I really appreciate them listening. But I feel like Alpha got something you want to say. Go ahead.
Alpha. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm not gonna let y'all disrespect German. Look,
it's not disrespect. I don't care. There's no disrespect whatsoever. There's no disrespect.
All right. No. Let me change my words.
Ain't no disrespect.
I'm not gonna let y'all treat him like he's a little baby. You talk to him like, look, they listened to him. They milked it down for him.
They did. Tell me where the lie is. Tell me where the lie is. Tell me where the lie is. Did they not change their offense and give him easy, simple things to do instead of the complicated stuff that was unsuccessful earlier?
I mean, he got a few good receivers.
When you say, you mean you don't have
three. He got his three. He got Forsman, he got Crip Ray, and he got my boy number 4, Banging Will.
Yeah, they're really good.
He got a sport and he got a back. So that's all you really need. And he's getting the ball to them. Look, I know Oslo.
You're agreeing with me.
Look, I know
he
that
got
Oslo,
the ball to the playmakers. That's what I said they did. It's not. That's all you need to negative.
Do. But the thing is, like, it's not as easy. It's not as easy to just be back there, the cornerback, playing quarterback, and just get the ball to people. It ain't.
You say that, but I mean, what he did, I can go out there and throw 5-yard hitches, slants, crossers to wide open players.
I mean,
he threw a corner for a touchdown.
I mean, he did throw some deep balls too, though. Like, I don't want to take away that he's a crap quarterback. I'm not saying that, but we've seen him in situations where he needs to like make higher level throws, or he needs to do simple things, and it's not going great. Even in this game, he had a couple throws that were just off the mark. I didn't say anything about that, but when you say I'm disrespecting him, I'm just saying.
I just want to say this. Hey, German, Slay, I'm gonna give you some flowers for this week. All right, good game. And I'd like for y'all to do the same thing. That's it. No,
I'm not giving them flowers against the look. This game to me, it was like Carlstad was playing. It was like they were playing a preseason scrimmage against a team that came. I know they don't get to pick who they play, and they don't get to decide or determine how teams show up to play them. But let's just be real. This was not the Oslo Vikings team. They had their head coach playing quarterback,
and he did a good job.
I just want to remind you guys, this was my positive. I'm just saying, this was my positive. I think the Carlstad Crusaders did a really good job, like fixing their weakness. And they looked very complete in that game. And it showed that they have a coaching staff who knows how to fix their issues so that they don't have any more issues. I don't think that having Jarman at quarterback is going to hinder this team. They've already played Tyresö, and they got through that. It's all downhill from here, buddy. Like, they're going to be fine. They're going to be one of the best teams for the rest of the season. They're undefeated. They did what they needed to do to be successful. That's what I said. And they did that a lot. I like to just give us a little bit of credit that they heard us talking about garbage, and that kind of helped them say, let's take a real hard look at this guy. Now, is it a nice way to say it? Probably not. But I ain't ever said I was going to be a nice guy. I'm a good guy. I'm not a nice guy. That's what it is. But that was my positive. Alpha, did you have a positive? I mean, I'm trying to keep up with it.
I mean, the positive thing that I see is that teams are winning games when we don't expect them to win games, and I give teams their flowers or their round of applause, pat on the back for making us wrong. Because when you do that, you know what I mean? I think that comes from listening to us. We ain't going to win. You ain't going to win. And boom, they winning games. So if we motivating y'all, go ahead, do your thing.
I just want to say with that, you're going to know. I play both sides of the fence. If I say you're going to lose and you lose, then I'm right. If I say you're going to lose and you win, I motivated you to win. Either way, I'm good, baby. PFS podcast. I'm good either way. We're just here to, get the best out of you guys the best way we can. Let's get into some negatives then.
That kind of feeds into my negative. When teams are winning games that we're not expecting them to win, that makes picking these games unrealistic, because this is now 2 weeks in a row where we pick games and we've been wrong a lot of the time. So I think it's the inconsistent play is kind of like a negative. Teams will have a momentum building game, but then that momentum doesn't last the following week. So like, let's take Limhamn. They go out, they beat Örebro 1 week, and then
hell of a game.
They come back against AIK, and then they look like they don't know, like they've never played a game of football before. Ball security was not a thing in this game. They had three fumbles, and
1 interception.
One interception, yeah. So, I mean, and I saw that a lot in the Örebro game, because the quarterback did have 2 fumbles in that game, but he only lost 1. So I knew that was a point where AIK can take advantage and win the game, and that's what they did. They forced fumbles and they got the win. But from week to week, it just looks very different. These teams are looking very different. The only consistent team that I'm seeing right now currently is Stockholm, because week to week they go out and their stats are, like I said, their stats are not going to jump off the page at you. They're not going to wow you, but they're very consistent in that, and they're finding ways to win. And this goes to Carlstad too.
Don't forget about Stockholm though. Stockholm be driving 50 yards to score.
Yeah,
Like they can't
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
they have like 30 yards to go and then they score, and then like that's their stats.
yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Stockholm the best.
Yeah, but that goes to Carlstad too, because we say this about Stockholm, but we don't say this enough about Carlstad. Carlstad is just finding ways to win these games.
They're consistent. I think I would consider them consistent as
Yeah.
well. I mean, obviously I've said what I've said about Jarman being, their weak spot, but that's it.
Yeah.
And they identified that. That's what I'm saying. In the first 3 games, they figured out, okay, the one weak spot we have might be here, but he's not a horrible quarterback. We can put him in situations to be successful, and now we can be successful. And that's them progressing, and that's the consistency, because their running back has been A1 every week. Their receivers have been good, not great per se, against Tyresö. That's just how it was. But when they played this last game, it all clicked, and defensively, they're good. Like, their defense is solid all the way around. Shout out to Matthias Eriksson. So I agree with you that like those are the only 2 consistent teams, which means picking these games is whew.
Yeah, it makes sense that the most consistent teams are ranked 1 and 2, and they are both undefeated at this point of the year, because consistency matters. That's my one negative, is that the inconsistent play from all teams, minus Carlstad and Stockholm.
What about you, Alpha? You got a negative you want to throw out there?
I just got one negative, and I think this factored into why Limhamn lost a game, is that the music was not booming like how it was the other week when they played the Air Brew. It wasn't. I would have lost that game too.
Well, your negative is similar to my negative. My negative is the extra part about football. It's not working for me out here. First of all, some of these jerseys, Stockholm, come on, you know what it is. We got to get these jerseys fixed. Even AIK, I don't like how everybody wears like one solid their pants, and then they just change the top of the jerseys, I guess. I mean, I like the top and bottom to match sometimes, but it depends on the color coordination. The Predators jerseys, I'm just done with that whole bright orange and blue thing. Like they don't have like Denver Broncos do it nice. I feel like they kind of overdo it, and then like their numbers are like bunched up. Like it just gives me an ick. I don't know why. There's something about it that just gives me an ick.
The Predators unis look good. They look good.
To you, that's fine. You can have your
and I cool. You talk about the teams that have the best unis, except for Stockholm.
I like Ayako's like black on black look. I don't like the white on black look. Like that's just me. Again, this is just my personal opinion. This ain't no like I'm no fashionista. That's just how I feel about it.
I need somebody to comment down below, because I think
I do like Carlstad's. I didn't think that they were going to go black on red, but I liked it. I don't know why, but I liked it. I like Carlstad's color, and I like Tyresö's like the aesthetic of it's like really clean with the white and red. I don't really like Oslo's red. I don't like the color red that they use. Like it's I don't know, but mostly Stockholm is your best team in the league. Are you wearing them 2002 joints? Like I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
That's more like 1998. I don't know.
Yeah, and then also like the video. Obviously I'm coming from Finland, guys. We got Ruutu. We got that A1 video. Replays. You get highlights. Limhamn had me cricking my neck the whole time.
Oh like, my goodness! I know.
Yeah, they
look. They
throw the ball deep. You don't even see it. Like they threw the ball, the camera never moved.
Yeah,
it's like, what happened?
Limhamn got to work. They did step it up a little bit, because I think they might have listened, but then it just went back to like the first day. It's like you told somebody something for months and it goes back to the first day. Like my neck was going like this too.
Yeah,
I'm
not tripping on the music, but we got to be able to at least get close, guys. And last thing I have for a negative, and then we'll get out of here. First quarter getting a little long, is that there's way too many penalties. And this is going to take a while, because I know Alpha has some things he wants to say about the referees, so we're going to throw it out here now. But there's way too many penalties in these games, and it affects the flow of the game. In some of these games, one team, who was it? I want to say, is it AIK or is it Predators? One of these two teams, they literally were using penalties to get down the field. AIK, that's who it was. When AIK was getting penalties from the other team, that's how they like moved the ball sometimes, and it helped extend their drives. And it happens every team I've seen so far, like both sides of the ball, every game. There's 8 or 9 penalties by each team. Over 50, 60 yards of penalties every game. And it's little stupid stuff. And then you have teams like even Limhamn in this game, the few times where they had big plays, penalties brought them back.
Yep.
They had touchdowns brought back for penalties. We saw last week before, we saw AIK could have won a game, but a penalty brought back that kickoff return thing because I think it was a forward pass or whatever. Anyway, but still, penalty's a penalty. It's just I've seen way too many penalties, and we're only in like week 4. And week 1 and 2, I give it a slide because you got to get used to playing. And a lot of holding penalties, so y'all can't block. Learn how to block. A lot of jumping off sides. Watch the ball. Like these are simple things.
Right.
To me, I'm getting the feeling that a lot of players or a lot of teams, I'm not going to just blame the players because the coaches have to coach them, are undisciplined.
Yeah.
A lot of these penalties aren't. I mean, they're not like normal. Like okay. Pass interference, I'll take because that can happen. But a lot of like the offsides, the holding, like that type of stuff, false starts, those are just discipline plays. And that's what I'm seeing a lot of discipline penalties. And again, just like the jerseys, it's giving me an ick. So that's my negative. But you got Alpha, you want to throw anything on there? I think this is the time for you to throw it.
Look, you already hit it on with the penalties. I just don't think that referees don't know what PI is in this league. They just.
What do you think it is? Define it for us.
For me, a PI is when you are like disrupting the receiver as he's trying to catch the ball. Like you got to give him a chance to catch the ball. You got to be playing through the hands. But if a guy just has his hand like running with the receiver and he's not like dragging him or pulling him, it's not a PI. I think there was a PI in the IE core game. I believe it was IE core game versus Limhamn Griffins. And I don't remember which way he was going, but they called a PI and the guy was playing great coverage. It's just because he was in his face. Yeah, he's there. He's supposed to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
they want you to give a 3 foot bubble when a receiver get a ball thrown his way.
Right. It's obviously it's a PI as well if you grabbing the guy. You know what I mean? If you grabbing the guy, he's running downfield, you can't grab anybody. You can put hands on the guy.
Where you grab for me. Like if you grabbing like a little bit of that jersey at the bottom of the shirt tail, I'm cool with that because that means you care. If you grabbing like up here and like
a little bit
stuff, that means you don't have a chance. But if you grab a jersey here and there, you're just being savvy. I'm with that.
Yeah. Lastly with the PI is like as a DB, it's college rules, so you can touch the guy after 5 yards without the ball being in the air.
Touch him. Yep.
You can touch him. So. Once the ball is in the air, then he has to not put hands on the guy as the ball is coming towards the receiver. But that's all I'm saying.
It's interesting that the word interference is what needs to be like defined. You have to interfere. If what you're doing doesn't interfere, it's not pass interference. And that's just, you're going to end up with DBs who don't want to play good defense because they're afraid to get pass interference, which they will get, and AIK will use that to move down the field because they don't have any offense. Oh, nope, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'll talk about that later. Sorry. I think that's it. Any last energy vibes you guys got before we get out of here? First quarter?
Let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
All right, we're in the second quarter. Top Performers is brought to you by Rayer Athletics, apparel and accessories made for players, by players. More than just accessories, Rayer provides custom jerseys for teams all over Europe. So head over to their web shop at rayer.se and upgrade your drip today. Let's talk about guys who stood out to us from last week's game. Antoine, I'll let you start us off, man. Who's looking good to you?
Let's get it. We got number 4, we got number 11, we got number 12, all from the Carlstad Crusaders. That's the wide receiver, Will, Christian, and Albin. So Will had 9 receptions, 133 yards, 3 touchdowns. Christian had 7 receptions, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. Albin, 5 receptions, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. Crazy. They did their thing out there. They took advantage of a weaker opponent. Yeah, and they just balled out. They had a good game.
What about you, Alpha? Anybody you want to talk about out there?
I mean, all those guys, but specifically number 4, Will. I don't know how to say his last name.
Van Compernole. That's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna say.
We got to give him like some a new nickname. But Will, that boy is balling on the field. He's making his presence known as an import player. Stockholm running backs, I like the
Belgium,
way,
baby.
yeah,
Belgium.
Geek, but Stockholm running back, I like what they're doing, like how they mixing up numerous running backs and they run the ball. Carlstad O-line, oh my goodness. One thing I like about Carlstad O-line is that they're mean. I know that they was playing against Oslo. They didn't have Will on the Oslo side of the ball, but I love seeing in the game that their O-line is going downfield and just keep pounding it. They're not soft. They're not soft at all. I bang with Carlstad O-line. I had to mention that because we don't give enough O-line credit. We always call it the D-line. Josh Akina and Matthias Eriksson. Matthias had a little body slam that I liked in the game. Oh, my goodness. He was violent on the field. Josh, with his forced fumble, he's finally not playing like a princess. Josh, I'm expecting him to come off the reality TV show. He's going to be a little soft, But, he's making his presence known, Let me check one more thing from my notes on my phone.
I'm gonna jump in there and then you can come back. I'm gonna jump in there about Josh because he was on my list as well. It was really good to see him, make an impact. I went and looked at the stats afterwards, and I really feel like they shortchanged that man. I seen him make a lot of plays. I think he only had like 1.5 tackles or half a tackle in the game. They didn't give him the forced fumble.
What? They didn't give him the forced fumble.
They didn't give him that. They didn't.
Yeah, it's on there.
Oh, it's on there now?
Oh, yeah, it's on there now. I think they went through and did a whole yeah, it's on there.
They had stat corrections. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because when I looked at stats, I didn't see him on there. I was a little upset. I was like, "Come on, man! They killing my guy out here. He had a really good game." And then what was really interesting was seeing him play at running back as well. Had a couple.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to play that much running back this year.
I think it was a position or personnel situation because him and number 24, Edgar Wallen, they both played running back and linebacker in this game. Okay. Like they were switching. They both were on defense, but they were switching in and out at running back.
Yeah.
So it was a win the game thing.
I think that was the only way that they were going to be able to keep both of them somewhat fresh. Because if one of them is playing both ways and the other one's just playing defense, only one of them is going to be fresh. So they were kind of switching in and out, trying to stay healthy. But he did a really good job. Because when I first saw that, I was like, why are they putting him in? Because no offense, Josh, you did play great, but I like Edgar Wallen. I think he's a hell of a running back, and I think he was doing a good job. They had very similar type of runs, but Josh did have a couple longer runs in the second half that really helped this team move the ball and get in position where they could have made something happen. Also, since I'm talking anyways, is another guy that really stood out to me was the defensive back from ARK. Let me see if I can get his name right. Gaston Gunberg Kurat. I'm not sure how to say your name, man. But he had an interception in this game, went up there and just attacked the ball. Last week, he had a forced fumble. I just like the way this guy plays because he's a ball hawk. And when he has an opportunity, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities to make these game-changing plays. But when you give him an opportunity, he shines. And to me, that stands out because that means he's a guy that if you can put him in the right position, put him in the right situation, he can change the game for you. Now, AIK offense never really helped anybody out the way they should have, but defensively, they had a really good unit, and I think they have a pretty good defense, but the score lets you know that their offense is, lacking.
Now, I was going to just say, I didn't know you was going to cut off, but last guy I wanted to give a shout out to was Jacob Sternberg from the Predators. Man, I like the way that boy played on the field. I thought instantly that guy's an import, but then when I heard that name, I was like, oh yeah, he's Swedish.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy.
Last guy I'm gonna throw out there, and I feel like I just got to talk about this guy every time he plays is Casper Wedberg, running back for the Mean Machine. First of all, again, why does man got to wear number 35 this game? Probably because they don't have a 30 jersey. Why? And this ain't the first team that did this. Sorry, I got to talk about my pet peeve. This should have been my negative. Why these teams got everybody wearing different jerseys on away games and home games and changing jerseys in the middle of week 2, week 3? Are we really that cheap, Sweden? Are we really that cheap that we can't buy a couple replacement jerseys. Like that's all that is we don't have a 35 in white. We don't have a 30 in white. Instead of us going and paying $70 to get a 30 in white, you're just gonna wear 35. Like that, Casper Westberg, one of the best players in the league. Get that man a jersey.
No, that's simple for Stockholm because those jerseys were made in 1995, so they probably don't make those jerseys no more. So they probably can't go out and get
those. Touche. Can't even get them that jersey. You go to the equipment manager, like, hey, can we order this jersey? And it's like they stopped printing this in 2012. But again, Casper did a really good job. You saw in this game, he got a lot of carries, kind of kept the game slow for the Mean Machines. Again, they don't try to get too fancy, but being able to give him the ball as a runner and a receiver, and then him just be consistently good. This was another great performance by him. I know his stats weren't huge in this one. I don't even know what he had. I think he had like 90 yards or something like that.
Yeah, 85.
He didn't have 85 yards. He didn't have like a whole bunch of like stats, but his consistency is what really drives this team. So it's really good to see him in this game. That's all I got for top performers. All right, we're into the third quarter. Keys to victory. Super Serien teams are back in action this weekend. First game, we got AIK versus Carlstad Crusaders. Then we have Oslo Vikings versus Stockholm Mean Machines. And the third game will be Tyresö Royal Crown versus Limhamn Griffins. Those are our matchups. If you want to get detailed preview of those games, head over to firstdownmag.com and read my in-depth analysis. Matter of fact, sign up for the website and get those previews as soon as they publish. But for podcast purposes, we're going to talk about keys to victories for each of these teams. First up, AIK taking on Carlstad Crusaders. Antoine, how can they win this game?
The same way they won against Limhamn with the backup quarterback. They have to be able to force fumbles. If they can force multiple turnovers in this game and then score off of those turnovers, because that's the big thing. You have to be able to score off these turnovers, but forcing turnovers and that's the only way, because their offense doesn't wow you at all. Like they don't have that true X factor player where if I get the ball in his hands, he's going to make a big play happen for us and he's going to push the ball. They rely on, like you said, their penalties to move the ball down the field. And then I don't know, it's something about that offense, man, that just is not impressive to me.
I'm going to jump off script here. Let me ask you two guys, because maybe you have a different opinion. That's what I want to know is, did you feel that changing the quarterback made a difference? Like, I think outside of him running the ball, like at the actual quarterback position, did you feel like them changing like made a difference?
I mean, no, he had his stats were similar to Vic's. I mean, and I think Vic, I think Vic, did he get injured?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just asking. Like, did you feel like it was an upgrade or anything?
No.
Sideline, but I don't know if he was injured.
I don't think it was an upgrade. They both had similar stats, like 6 for 10 for 44 yards, 7 for 13 for 44 yards, 1 touchdown each. And so it was. I mean, that's good, I guess. Where like you can switch the quarterback and the play is still on the same level and it doesn't drop off like most second string quarterbacks would do. So that's good, but it's just not impressive. It's not an impressive offense.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if Vic would have stayed in, this other guy, we're not going to give him flowers yet. I think it would have been the same result to the win to the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. They just need to. One of the players on the offensive side of the ball has to be like, you know what, this offense is kind of here, and I know that if I just apply a little bit more effort and do like some things differently and show them at practice of what I can actually do, I can be that cornerstone where like I know, like if I'm a receiver, I know I'm going to get the ball more because I'm the only one that's going to make dynamic plays. Or if I'm a running back, I know because I average 5 yards a carry that they're going to try to give me the ball more. So if you want your numbers to go up and you want your stats, and if you want to be an impact player for the team, it's easy to step up and be that person for AIK's offense, honestly. But in order for them to win, their defense has to unfortunately carry majority of the workload and get things done on that side of the ball.
Yeah, the best offensive players are the two linebackers.
Yeah.
What about you, Juice? What do you think they have to do to win this game?
Man, I think ICOR just got to believe, they got to believe that they can win this game and keep the ball in front, because the Carlstad receivers is just torching people right now. I know we didn't say that Carlstad receivers were going to be like this dynamic group. We didn't know what they had.
I did. Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, I've been talking about Christian
support
offense since day one. Yeah, and I also said that I like William too, and I don't know Albin as well as y'all did, but I said day one, this is a good receiving core. Only time they didn't really have a great game was against Tyresö, and that is to be expected when you play against really good defenses. But hey, I've been on this train since day one. I'm just saying. I ain't with the quarterback, it is, but I've been on the receiver since day one.
I knew what Krippe can do, and Krippe is not even the best receiver on the team at all. You know what I mean? He still look a little bit stiff on the field sometimes. In my opinion,
I'm not gonna argue with you.
Albin, I didn't know that Albin was going to be this smooth that receiver. He out here taking people in, running. You know,
good in and out. Yeah.
You know, I had no idea. I just knew he could play quarterback. I only seen him play quarterback. I seen him play receiver a few times, but that's because they had another American there. But I'm gonna stay on topic though. Core, you gotta just try to keep this game close. You gotta try to slow down. To be honest, I don't even know what they can do. I'm gonna be real. I'm just trying to get some top of my head. I don't even think I don't think that they can do much to win this game.
As soon as I heard Alpha say believe, I knew that he didn't think they could. Anytime you hear him say believe, hope, have faith, start getting real spiritual and emotional about how you can win the game. That means on paper and on the field, there ain't much you can do. So you got to go outside. You got to go spiritual to get that win. But for me, I'm gonna tell you what I put on my notes. If physically, and I say keys to victory, and I think victory is keeping the game close. I'm gonna be honest. I think victory is keeping the game close. They got to stop the run and force the Crusaders pass game to be reliant on the quarterback. Again, he's still garbage. I don't care what you say. But if you do like their opponents did last week and give them, Oslo Vikings were putting 8 people deep and saying, "Oh, don't beat us deep," and then giving up all the short routes and then jumping the short routes, then getting beat deep by doing it because they're being so conservative playing against them. But if you go out there and say, "Hey, you're gonna have to beat us with one-on-one play," I mean, they will, but you got a much better chance of their quarterback throwing an interception on a fade ball, throwing a cover 2 or something, than you do him throwing an interception on a hitch. And then that receiver is going to be better than you. Like, it is what it is. He's going to be better than you once he catches the ball. And what's really good about Albin, Christian, and Will is they're all yak receivers.
Yeah.
They all can get yards after the catch. So what you would have to do, AIK, is to force them to be catch receivers and force the quarterback to throw them into open spots instead of them catching it and then doing their thing. Because I still do not believe that quarterback is capable of doing that at this level. If you make him have to make throws, the receivers, they're going to catch the ball at some point. They're going to make some plays. But if you can limit the amount that they do, you have a chance in this game. And then offensively, I'm going to give AIK some free game because I've seen enough. I know the offense is not great, but I've seen enough. Let me look at my stats because I can't remember my guy's name. Number 3, Oliver Langglass. You're the best receiver on the team. I said it. Oliver's the best receiver. Number 24 is a good running back. You can also, let me say his name too. I don't know why I'm not saying people's names out here. Edgar. Edgar's a good running back. Josh Akina's a good running back. Both your quarterbacks are mid. It is what it is, but they're serviceable quarterbacks. You have a good run game. Your offensive line is decent too. I don't know who out there because I heard they didn't have enough offensive linemen, but they're good. Or if they're not good enough, their running backs can make up for it. This is what you do. Here's the script. If you're listening, AIK, I don't know who the offense coordinator is or who's calling the plays, but you listen up. I got this down. I didn't write it down. I should have, but I wanted to do it off the dome. Okay. Play 1. We throw that quick screen to Oliver. Just give him the ball. He going to make something shake. He going to get you 3 or 4. Easy. Okay. Second play, we hit that zone read with the quarterback and the running back. That way you got an easy option. Both your quarterbacks can run the zone read. Thick Vic did it a couple times. He can move. Yeah, I've seen the film. Thick Vic can move, so you don't have to put in number 1 Lambert But if you do, it doesn't matter. Then you're at like a 3rd and 3. You're at 3rd and 3. You put in either Edgar or Josh Akina, and you run some type of trap, fold, counter run play that's going to get you 2 to 3 yards just by full body. And then you come back, and instead of doing a screen to Oliver, you do a quick slant, an RPO. You look like you're going to do the zone read, but it's the pass RPO, quick slant to him, get you another 3 or 4, and rinse. Then you go back to the zone read with the quarterback and running back. Then you go back to a fold or a trap play. And then you go back to a quick screen number 3 and rinse and move your asses down the field, because everything else you do don't work. But if you stick to that, what works, those 3 plays, you're good at them, you're consistent at them, and you can do them left and right with different personnel. Not too many different personnel at receiver. Stick to Oliver, just keep giving him the ball. But you got enough running backs, you got good enough quarterbacks that you're able to do those plays and force that defense to be spread wide and have to think run or pass, left or right. Are they going to pull? Are they going to just run regular zone? Is the quarterback going to pull it, or is he going to throw it if he doesn't pull it? That put some pressure on the defense. But if you just line up and keep running these random plays with no real purpose of how you're going to get the ball down the field and hope that the Crusaders are going to give you penalties, they're one of the least penalized teams in the league. They're not going to give it to you. So you got to do something. So again, I might have went on a tangent, but I hope that somebody recorded that portion, because literally if you write them plays down and just keep repeating it, I promise you can score. ARK is that good on offense. They're not a crappy offense, but they haven't showed any consistency in their play calling. So they can't have consistent plays if their play calling is so random. So moving on, let's talk about the Carlstad Crusaders and what they have to do to win. Juice, we'll start with you, and don't say believe.
Oh, of course. I'm not going to say that, because
have faith.
One, run the ball to get the game over with. Run the ball. You got young Kennedy, who has been a good running back all season. Didn't have his best game last week, but
the reason he didn't have his best game is because they was feeding the narrative to get 100 passes for their quarterback. That's all. He could have ran for 300 yards against Oslo Vikings. They probably got the ball 8 times.
I can imagine them saying, "I don't care what those stupid guys say on that podcast. Don't listen to none of that crap.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah, we gonna do what we gotta do. Hey, buy into what's going on. Enjoy the entertainment." But I'm gonna keep going though. Hey, Carlstad, run the ball, get the ball to your top 3 guys. If you got another guy to get the ball to, get the ball to them. Your O-line is amazing. Your box on defense is amazing. So they're gonna do their part on defense. Their zone coverage. You know, Tracy Greer, I see him back on the sideline. I'm glad that he's back with the organization. Carlstad, just be Carlstad, man. Y'all doing a good job.
I love it.
Wait, does Carlstad got a bye week after this game?
Let me check real quick.
Because one trend that I've been seeing, all the teams that have been going into a bye week has lost a game.
They don't have a bye week next week now.
I don't think that's a trend, because the Mean Machines haven't lost anything.
But Machines, they still played a football game though. They didn't they just took a bye from the Super Series, not from football. They didn't take a bye from work.
So they don't count. They different.
Some of these teams they thinking about this bye week that's coming out. Oh, we about to get a break, man.
Yeah,
Erbrook did that, and Tyresö did that.
Yeah, Carlstad doesn't have a bye until the last week. They're playing every week, except for the last
good.
I do think that's more coincidence than anything, though. I don't think there's a lot to that at this point in the season, because it's so early in the season.
I'm just trying to be an analysis, that's it.
It's a correlation, I guess. Antoine, what do you think Crusaders need to do to win this week?
We've seen them win every which way. We've seen them have a game this past week where they look like an all-star team, where they look like the best team that played football this weekend. We saw a game the week before where they didn't look that impressive, but they still came away with the win against a better opponent. And then we saw the week 1 where they just, they welcomed the new guys to the Super Series and they just put that hurting on them. But hey, man, we've seen them get it done every way possible. They, like Alpha said, they got a good O-line. They got a good box on defense. They have 3 of the top receivers in the league right now. They have 1 of the top running backs in the league right now. What else do you need? Just go out there and play football, have fun. Don't put yourself in compromising situations where you make one mistake and then that snowballs into more and more mistakes, because that's what happened against Tyresö. 1 interception turned into 3 before halftime, and then 4 for the whole game. So if you make a mistake, let it go. It's only one play. Get it back next play. Keep that energy high and just go out there, play, have fun, man. You can. I mean, look, we say this every time. We said this when Limhamn was going in to play AIK this past weekend, where it's like, oh, Limhamn, like, come on, you just got this big win. Go out there, just continue, stay confident, whatever. And then they went out and lost that game. So don't get ahead of yourself. Don't think too far in advance. AIK is just not going to go out there and let you just roll over them and let you win the game, let you do whatever you want to them. So you got to play that game, but play the game and play it to the way you know how to play and get that dub. It's that simple.
Go ahead, Juice.
I was going to say that. I was going to say the same exact thing. I had just 2 more points I wanted to say. Don't think that you won the game before even playing the game, because I see teams doing that. But if you do the right things that you're supposed to do, you should win this game by 50. If you do, let my boy Alvin Forsman play some quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, don't let Jarman play the whole game. Let my man show that he can still do his thing, because I think he's gonna be an important Finland one day. I'm gonna prophesy that. But that's all I want to
manifest it. Keep saying it then.
It only gotta be Finland, Germany. So I don't know. He's gonna get it done. I still believe in him as a quarterback.
Manifest it. How old is Albin?
20, 21?
Yeah, he gotta be young. He's under 21 for sure. So I remember seeing him at in Germany at football camp.
He might just turn 20 this year, I think.
Okay. All right. I dig that. For me, man, when y'all be talking, I'll just be coming up with ideas of what I want to say, and then I don't say it. I'm gonna say what I wrote on my notes. Carlstad Crusaders, you need to run the ball and let your wide receivers win one-on-ones. But I also want to do some Jedi mind tricks out here, because it's May the 4th weekend. May the 4th be with you, if we haven't talked about that already. And apparently, yep, they don't know nothing about that out here. Cinco de Mayo, boy. That's kind of what I'm doing today. Is I'm gonna do a little kind of Cinco de Mayo type of thing. Really, got me some cervezas out here. That's what I do. But getting back to the game, because I keep getting off of the game. In this game, I want to do a little Jedi mind trick, because obviously Crusaders are listening, and I rock with the Crusaders. I like the organizations. I love the Uni. Still waiting on some gear. If you got it, send it to me. You know how to find me. I'm online at Perfect Purpose. But I think in this game, what I'd like to see, since last week, I told everybody you got a garbage quarterback. You got a garbage quarterback. So y'all went out there and had this man throw 40 passes, 35 of them under 5 to 10 yards, so that he can get his stats up, which is good. Again, but I don't care about him. I don't. No offense. I don't care about him. I ain't worried about him. I mean, I still want Naughton to get his yards, and I like Will and Alvin too, but Crippe is my guy. But what I'm gonna say in this is, I bet Carlstad Crusaders, I bet y'all can't get 200 yards rushing. I bet young Kennedy don't get 200. I bet you don't do it. I feel like if I say you won't do it, then maybe you will. But what I would like to see is them just hand the ball number 8 and just go to town and just say, you know what, you got this. I think this is the perfect opportunity, because AIK's defense is good, but they ain't no punks. And I think Carlstad, you're going to win this game. It don't matter how you do it, you're going to win this game. But how you win it sets the tone. And I say, put your foot on their neck. Go out there and show AIK, show somebody like Josh Akina. Give that man a day. Make him work. I want to see Josh Akina take down young Kennedy more than 5 times. Can he do it? I don't know. But you got to.
Who's winning that battle? Who do you think winning that battle? Akina versus Kennedy?
Well, with Costa's old line, they do a good job of getting to the second level. So it might not be just one-on-one. He might have to.
Josh gonna get pancaked. Well, he gonna get pancaked this game. He gonna be thinking about love. He gonna be thinking about love on the ground. How he missed that girl. How he missed it. I don't know how he missed out on getting that girl.
I do believe that if young Kennedy is given the ball, like I think last week was a disservice to him not to give him the ball in that game. Like you had a stat padding game and you didn't give him the ball. This game, even if they give him the ball, 20 times, he's gonna have to work for it. But I bet he don't get 200. Just gonna put that out there. I bet he don't get 200. I ain't talking about 150. I ain't talking about 175. I'm talking about 2 bills.
Watch he gets like 197. You don't get like 197.
You know what? Let me put something on it. this a live bet. If young Kennedy get 200, how old is he? First of all, how old is young Kennedy?
I know young Kennedy is young.
Never mind. I ain't gonna do that then.
He left the Rig Academy, so he got to be still young.
Okay, never mind.
I was
gonna put a bottle. I was gonna put a bottle on it, young. I was gonna put a bottle on it. You know, you get the two, you get a bottle.
He old enough to drink.
Weeks.
He old enough to drink.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Okay, let's do it that way. If Kennedy get 200, you know, next time I pull up to Sweden, bottles on me.
You send him a bottle?
Champagne poppy over here. Sending bottles to young Kennedy.
I'll hand deliver it. I'll go to Carlstad and give it to him. That's what I'll do.
I'll be right there with you. Go get a kebab.
Yeah, but you got to get 200 though. I ain't 199 ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah, if Kenny don't get it, he owes me a kebab.
There you go. The bet is on. If Kennedy get 200, he get a bottle. If he don't,
I'm gonna slide in his DMs.
He owe him a kebab.
I'm gonna slide in his DMs and I'm gonna tell him to go listen to about 45 minutes into the video.
All right, that's good for that first game. Let's go to the next one. All right, we got Oslo Vikings versus Stockholm Mean Machines. Keys to victory for the Oslo Vikings. I'm gonna go with you first, Juice, because I just read what Antoine wrote.
Well, number one, make sure that your imports show up to the game. Well, they was at the game. Make sure they play in the game. I don't know what injuries they had in this past game, but I have injuries, bro. I'm not missing no game at all.
They had injuries after a bye week, though. They had a bye week.
What were they doing in practice?
Bro, let's be real. Wait till it gets to me. I'm gonna tell you exactly what they were doing in practice.
Hey, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. If you want any chance of winning this game, bring your imports to the game and make sure they play.
Maybe bring some extras. Slide them in there.
I got you.
Go ahead, Antoine.
So here's what they were probably doing at practice. Somebody probably tripped over some of that camera equipment they used to make all these social media posts and whatnot. That's probably what's going on there. They need to figure out whoever's they're only winning in one aspect of this whole project we're going to play in Sweden this year, and that's the social media aspect. Their social media game, top tier. That's where they're winning. So if you doing photo shoots eight days a week, and you're not actually really.
You said 8 days.
Exactly. Every day they got some media thing going on. So I don't know, man. Maybe focus more on football and not your social media. You're playing against Stockholm. They're not winning this game. So whether you bring your imports or don't bring your imports, whatever, you're not winning this game. I mean, I just don't know what they're doing at this point. Like, what are you doing at this point? Like, what is your goal for the remainder of this season? Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself? You got 5 more games of this season. What is your goal at this point? They need to go back. They need to sit down and be like, all right, let's be honest with ourselves. Are we going to win the game this year? Do we want to win the game this year? And if so, how are we going to do it? Because right now it's looking like they're about to go winless.
Hold on, though, man. Don't forget that the season starts with the gauntlet for them.
It does. It's doing.
We said they might go 0-4. We said they might go 0-4 in the gauntlet.
Look, it's doing work to them. It's doing work. They are losing bad. Like, they are down bad right now. And you play a game where you have no imports at all, playing the game against a team where it's like a very winnable. I thought it was a very a good opportunity for them to win the game. So I don't know. No hope for me for them.
There's ways to win. I think that if the Oslo Vikings are able to create turnovers, the Mean Machines defense is susceptible. Like, you can score points on their defense. You can get yards on their defense. What you can't do is drive 70 yards and score on their defense. Now, if you get the ball at like the 30, you might have a chance. So for you to do that, you'd have to get the ball away from them when they have it on offense. So I think if their defense was able to create some turnovers and get them in a scoring position, they'd have a chance in this game. But outside of that, it's just going to be one of those days for good old Oslo. So let's move on to the most likely winners of the game, the Mean Machines. Antoine, I'll let you go this one first. What do you think they need to do to be successful, get keys to victory in this game?
It's very easy. Just continue to do what you're doing. They play clean games. I mean, they're not, like I said earlier in the show, their stats are not going to jump off the page at you, and they're not going to wow you, but they're going to get the job done. I mean, the fact that you can go out and none of your starting receivers play against the Predators, and you still, and Matteo Renteria, he still went 15 for 18. That's crazy. So like he's a very capable quarterback. He can get the job done. It doesn't matter who his receivers are, and it proves that they have depth in that receiver position to get the job done. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be another kind of similar to what Carlstad just did to Oslo, where it's just a game where they can pat the stats and get their numbers up. So yeah, just go out there and have fun, ball out, try some stuff, run some trick plays, do whatever you want to do. But yeah, man, just have fun. Honestly.
What about you, Juice?
Again, like the same advice that I said to Carlstad, don't think you win the game before playing it. You know, I know Pillback is not going to be the coach to teach guys to do things like this, but I understand the mentality is like, oh, Oslo, they even worse. This could be a sleeper though, again, you know, because Oslo didn't show much last week and they can just come out with their power imports. But Mean Machines, simple football, and similar response that I said to Carlstad. Run the ball. You got three monsters back there that can get the job done for you. Quarterback is playing really good. He's getting the ball to all of his receivers. You got numerous receivers to throw the ball to. And I guess I wanted to add one more point for Oslo. Tech Stockholm cornerbacks. I'm not saying, when I say DBs, not the safeties in particular in the nickel, they're cornerbacks. You know, to me, they're not impressive. They had a new guy out there, number 27, I believe. It was a black guy. I think he's from the South. Rapper, something like that. But anyways, attack these guys. Attack their corners. Quick game, double moves. And I'm pretty sure that you can have some success with that Oslo. Stockholm, keep playing Stockholm football. Your D-line is good. Linebackers are good. Just cornerbacks, a little garbage.
All right. For me, just to add on, Stockholm player brand. Again, I'm gonna say this and keep reiterating it. Make sure Casper Weber gets the ball, and you'll be fine. Feed him, feature him, how you've been doing, and just keep that up, and you'll be fine. The Vikings really don't have anything for you on either side of the ball. Don't think, even if they could score, they couldn't score enough. Even if they could stop you, they couldn't stop you enough. So just do your thing. Try to keep everybody healthy is what I would suggest more than anything. This is another game where I wouldn't put my starters out there too much, but I understand if you need to do a little stat padding after last week because you didn't really play at all. So sometimes you just need to have them out there. It's crazy that, you know, none of the Stockholm Mean Machine receivers are like in top in the stats, but that's because they haven't had like a stat game yet. They've just been really good, really spread out. I looked at the stats earlier today, and you have Matthew Retzloff, you have Anton Blumgren, and you have Robin Miranda, who all have like less than 10 catches through 3 games. Like the ball has been spread out very evenly between them, as well as Casper Wedberg, who I think he has 9 catches. So he's right up there as one of the top receivers on their team. They like everyone's getting the ball. Everyone has like 150, close to 200 yards receiving, but nothing like crazy. Like some of these other teams, there's guys with 250 or 230 yards receiving through 3 games. And so I think for them, maybe they do like Carlstad and, you know, put your stats up against Oslo. I mean, their defense, whether they have imports or not, isn't going to change at those positions. Their imports aren't playing in the secondary. Their import is playing at linebacker. So you're going to be able to still pass the ball and get that done. So I say get your stats up. I mean, if we doing that, if that's what we doing this season,
yeah,
why not? Stockholm should do it too. We'll move to the last game. Last matchup we have Tyresö Royal Crowns versus Limhamn Griffins. I think this is going to be an actual matchup. So, what do we got keys to victory for Tyresö Royal Crowns? Juice, you can go first.
Tyresö got to bring the juice, bring the swag on the field, play Tyresö football. One thing I do want to know is that we got to see what's up with the quarterback, Jay. Don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully that he's healthy and he's able to play this week. I know when I sent a message, he said he's going to be fine. Tyresö, They got a good run game. Defensively, their D line is really good. Their cornerbacks, I'm excited to see their cornerbacks lock down some guys because I do think that these Southern teams, like as I said before, they do get athletes. Then I almost like, oh man, I should have took that coming back. But then again, I seen this week they got ball players at the skill position, so it's good to see what the matchup is going to be like. Because these Southern guys like Limhamn, Griffin, they got a few good receivers that can get the job done. Take away their playmakers, Tyresö defensively. Take away number 4. Take away Alex, the running back, and a QB as well. You got to eliminate his QB run. I think if he did run the ball a lot more, I think that Limhamn can make some plays. So I guess I target for Limhamn right now a little bit. So I'm just keep continuing for Limhamn. For Limhamn, what they need to do is get the ball to your playmakers and be confident. You know what I mean? That's not belief, that's not hope, but be confident because they do belong in this level as we can see. They played in close games against opponents, and except for Stockholm, but those are those two keys to victory. You guys can continue on with Tyresö.
Antoine, what do you got?
Tyresö, I just hope they still have a bad taste in their mouth after that Carlstad game. A big key to victory for them is obviously with Limhamn being a run heavy team. I think their defensive line is going to be an extremely important part in this game. I don't think Limhamn is going to have the success running the ball as much as they have had these prior games because of the speed, the explosiveness, and the size of Tyresö's defensive line. So I think they're going to struggle in that standpoint, but make them try to run with the quarterback because he's shown through 2 games now that, and actually the running back too, they've shown that they will fumble the ball if you get a good hit on them, or if you're trying to strip the ball out for them and make a play like that. So you can force them into fumbles. But they have to be able to then turn around and score off of those turnovers. I know it didn't work like that against Carlstad because once they forced Carlstad into a turnover, they would turn the ball over themselves. So ball security. But yeah, I mean, I think they got humbled against Carlstad, and I think they're going to be in the right mindset. And I think I feel bad for Limhamn almost because I feel like Tyresö is almost going to take it out on them a little bit. But moving forward with Limhamn, I don't know if what they've been doing is gonna work that much. I don't know if any of the running plays is gonna work as well this game. When they do pass the ball, I mean, let's just be real. They're only looking in one direction, and that's in the direction of number 4. So
Wilson, yeah.
So as long as Tyresö can stop number 4, then they're gonna have to be reliant on spreading the ball around. And I just don't think their quarterback is gonna have the time to necessarily look at a second and third option. I think it's gonna have to be quick. It's gonna have to be all right. On this play, I know he's doing this, so let me just get the ball out quick. But yeah, I mean, they both have looked impressive one week and then looked not impressive a week later. So I want to see both of them compete. Kind of, I want to see what it looks like. I want to see what Limhamn brings coming off that loss to Ake, and I want to see what Tyresö brings coming off that loss from Costa. And they had a week off, so I think they got their humble. They took their humble pie. They ate it. It tastes disgusting, obviously. So I think I think Limhamn is just. I think they're just gonna. It's gonna be a rough week for them, unfortunately.
It might be. For me, I got actually very similar advice for both teams, like when it comes to how they could win. I think for Tyresö, to your point, Antoine, like their defensive line and mostly their entire defense, they have to dominate. And like you said, if they can do it up front, they're going to be fine. Like if they stop the Griffins from being able to run the ball, it kind of destroys their whole offense. And then on the offensive side for Tyresö, let them cook. Just give them time. Like I think their offense, sometimes it takes a little while to get going, but if you give them time, ain't nothing they can do. Like they have a great receiving core, great running back, really good quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the league in my opinion at this point. So just give the offense time, and eventually they will score a whole lot of points. And then from the Griffins, there's not a lot you can do, but what you can do is keep doing you. Throw the kitchen sink at them. Be aggressive, offense and defense. Make as many plays as you can. Keep doing your double pass. Do your trick screens. Get in your wildcat formation. And then on defense, send the house a couple of times. Mix up your blitzes. Don't be conservative. Make them make a mistake. And I think if the Griffins are able to do that, we're going to have a ball game. I hope we do have a ball game. I think that the Griffins have a good enough team that they can create a few mistakes by Tyresö because Tyresö's been inconsistent. They've shown that that's how they play. They play inconsistently. So if Limhamn can, I mean, for lack of better words, they can catch them slipping. It's it. You can do it. You just got to catch them slipping. And I think that'll give this game a little bit more feel than what we thought on paper. On paper, Tyresö should run amok with them. But I think when he's watching play, Limhamn has some fight in them, and they can. If they don't do what they did last week was a lot of like mistakes that don't look like them. But if you that up and just don't make like dumb plays, I think they took a safety when they were punting when the guy caught the knee. Like, don't hit plays. Don't do that. Obviously, I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be able to compete in this game. I think it's going to be one of these games where I actually have to watch, the whole game instead of like 2 or 3 quarters and then turn it off because it's a blowout.
Yeah. Oh, but for Limhamn, whatever you do in this game, don't let them just run up the score on you, because what I'm noticing now in the league is that in order to make the playoff, is going to come down to those point differentials with the records being similar. So don't allow them just to score 30 or 40 points this game, because that's going to hurt you in the long run.
Drip, grind, and stand out. That's the Improved Athletes way. Improved Athletes, a European sports brand based in Milano. If you want to look good and be successful in athletics, go and head over to improveathletes.com to stand out with your new drip.
Okay, it's fourth quarter. Picking winners of football games is not easy, as we've shown through 4 weeks. But we're going to put our picks out here anyways. Our weekend picks are brought to you by our partners at Improved Athletes, where you can grind, drip, and stand out. Our picks will be available on Instagram at Pro Football Sweden, where you can make your comments. No need to flood our DMs. Let's jump into it. First game, AIK versus Carlstad Crusaders. Juice, who you got and why?
I'm going with Carlstad Crusaders. They're the dominant team, and there's no other reason. No other reason.
Antoine, what about you?
Yeah, very similar to what Jallo just said. Yeah, Carlstad's going to win. They're just simply the better team. They just got more. They're working with more. So.
I agree. I think the wild card is going to be if young Kennedy can get 200 yards rushing. I don't think he can. I have zero faith in him. I don't think it's going to happen. Since this is a clean sweep, let's throw out scores of this game. What are you guys thinking?
I think that Carlstad should put a lot of points in this game. I think that Carlstad minimum should have 42 points. Minimum.
I'm actually going to go against that. Even though they could have a lot of points, I don't think they are. I think last week was like that rare eclipse where now they kind of reset the standard of what we think they are. But I think now this week is going to be a little bit more reality set in of like what you actually are against.
How much you want to bet on this?
They're not scoring 40 points. I think they're going to score they're going to be in the range of 25 to 32 range. They're not scoring 42.
It seems like you're going to make a trip to System Beloget.
All right, man. That's what it comes down. If that's what it has to come down to, then that's just what it has to be. Yeah. I'll put. Yeah, we could bet about it on that. They're not scoring 40 points.
All right.
Yeah, this is now becoming a gambling show.
Like I said, I think this week we're going to see more of the actual Slade Jarman, what he actually is. Not as bad as we saw against Tyresö, and not as good as we saw against Oslo. I think he's going to be somewhere in the middle. I do think he's going to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I do think AIK is going to be able to force him into at least make one mistake, at least get one pick.
Was that a slap in the face? Was that a slap in the face to Norwegian football?
What you mean?
It kind of sounded like you said he played against a Norwegian team. Now he's actually playing against a Swedish team where it's going to be a little bit challenging.
I said this episode 1, we were doing the whole rollout to this whole season. I said, I don't know what Oslo is, but they haven't won a game against a Swedish team. And so far,
nothing has changed. That is still true 4 weeks later or 5 weeks later.
It still holds true. So enough with Oslo. If they're going to come to play Swedish football and you're not going to let your imports play, whether they were injured or not, and you're not going to bring your stars, if you're not going to give your full effort in these games, then I got nothing for you. But Carlstad's going to have like, and they're going to be in that 25 to 32 point range. But I do think AIK scores. It's probably going to be like this week where they score like another 15 points. They don't have it on offense unless they can force some turnovers on defense and then get like a pick six or get like a scoop and score. That's the only way that they're going to get over that 14 to 15 point range, in my opinion.
I agree with y'all. I think it'll be lopsided. I'm gonna go Carlstad 36, AIK 6. And the only reason I give Carlstad only 36 is because I don't think they're going to be able to put up a whole lot of points if they're running the ball to get those 200 yards. It takes a little bit of time.
Jarman's going to take over. And he's going to be just throwing the ball around.
So you're just gonna cost Young a bottle like that? That's kind of selfish. You know? I ain't offering him nothing. I'm just saying, if they want to get those 200 yards, they got to feed number 8, and it might take a little while for them to get the yards because AIK's defense is not going to just let him walk through them. I mean, he's going to get through there, but it ain't going to be like a hot knife through butter. It'll be like what a hot knife through boiling water. I don't know. What is not hot knife through butter? It ain't gonna be that easy. It's gonna be a little struggle, but he'll get through there. You know, like when your knife it's not super sharp, but it ain't dull. You know,
maybe like a butter knife through like molasses or something like that, because molasses is a little bit harder, a little bit thicker than butter to get through.
I don't really eat molasses, but okay, that makes sense. Okay, we'll go with hot knife through molasses. You know what? Warm knife through molasses. You know, room temperature knife through molasses. I believe he'll get there, but it'll take a little bit because I respect the AIK's defense. I respect their 2 linebackers. So the next game, I think we have the same picks for this one too. So we'll go pick and score. Oslo Vikings versus Stockholm Meat Machines. Who you got and why? Juice, you can go first.
Yeah, I'm going Meat Machines. Meat Machines. I don't think that Oslo has the players to stop the dominance of the Meat Machines offense, and I think the Meat Machines defense is just going to overpower Oslo's offense. I hope that Oslo could do something. I hope their quarterback is playing and their quarterback runs the ball. I think that's their best option is that they can get the QB to be running in this game. So yeah. Oh, so you want to know the number?
Give me a score.
I keep doing this over under because it's hard to predict an exact score, but they're going to get over 30 points in this game. Meat Machines will.
Okay.
Yeah. Oslo. If their imports are playing, I'll see them scoring 2 to 3 touchdowns. 2 to 3 touchdowns.
What about you, Antoine?
Yes. Obviously, Stockholm Meat Machines. They just they got more. The same thing I said about Carlstad versus AIK. Meat Machines, they just got more than what Oslo has at the moment in time. Hopefully, Oslo does bring out their full team and they get everybody involved. It's a home game, so I think the excitement of being home again will kind of help them score a couple touchdowns, but nothing beyond that. I mean, I just saw Stockholm score 41 points against a team in the Predators who I think has a better defense than the Vikings. So I think they score 50 points easy in this game. It just depends on how much who wants the ball, who wants to get fed, and how much stats they want to put up. I mean, Matteo Renteria, he really hasn't had that game where he's had over 300 yards passing the ball. So I think this is the game where he goes out. He probably has like 400 yards passing. I don't
know where you think they're going to get these yards from when they only have to go 50 at a time. Like that's the only reason Meat Machines don't have a lot of like stats because they always have short field. I can't remember the last time they had to go like 70 yards to score a touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so maybe he does. I think he gets 300 at least, and I think he has like what's the record for most touchdowns in the game by a Swedish quarterback or in the Swedish game? I don't know, but I think he probably has like 7 or 8 touchdowns easy.
Yes.
No. I think he'll have like 7 or 8 in this game. He had 5. He had 5 in the last game. I think
he's optimistic.
He could get 7. He could get 7 against Oslo with the receivers that he has. He could get 7. But that's all depending on what Casper does after that too. So, Actually, yeah. So yeah, he'll probably stay consistent but he'll have 300 yards easy. But I think he'll have like another 5 touchdowns. I think Casper will have a big game, over 150 yards running the ball. Maybe a couple catches in the passing game. But yeah, I think everybody has a big game this week, so they'll score over 50 points.
Yeah, they should stat pad. That's why I'm going with the Mean Machines also. But I'm gonna put their score up there high. I think 40. I'm gonna go 46 to 16. I don't know how I got 16. That's just number I'm going with. But I think 46 to 16. I think they're gonna get over 40 because they got over 40 pretty much every week. They've scored 39, 44, 41. So they're easily going to get around 40 points. But their defense, Alpha said it best. Cornerbacks, they sus. So they might give up some points. I think they'll give up a touchdown or two. And I think it's just going to be one of those games like the stats are going to go depending on how they want to. If they want Casper to get all the stats, he'll get all the stats. Yeah. If they want Mateo Renteria to throw for 500 yards, he'll throw 500 yards. It really just depends on what they want to do. Whatever they want to do, they're going to be able to do in this game. Last game is going to be Tyresö Royal Crown versus Limhamn Griffins. Give us your pick and why. We'll start with you, Antoine.
I don't know. Even though I know Tyresö is going to win, I feel like we've been wrong. We've been wrong in at least one game that we picked. Yeah. So I'm like, which game are we going to be wrong in? And I feel like this one is the one where it's just like, I don't know if Tyresö does come out and they do have that inconsistent play that we're at times used to seeing. It could be like another wild one, like it was against Carlstad, where it's just like, what is going on? What is this really about to happen? And then it happens. I hope it doesn't, but we'll see. But I'm picking Tyresö to win for sure.
What about you, Alpha?
Yeah, I'm going with Tyresö for this matchup. I think that Tyresö is going to have that energy that we can't lose another game. And I think that they're going to demonstrate that this week.
I'm going to go with the Griffins. You know what? I'm gonna go with the Griffins. I do think Tyresö is the better team, but I need them to prove this to me this week. So I'm gonna go with the Griffins out of spite. Yeah, pretty much out of spite. Because I feel like with the Griffins, I have a pretty good idea what I'm gonna get. Even with the bad game they played last time, they still had the same strategy, the same like idea and identity as a team. And if things had went right for them, they would actually got out with the win. Like they were consistent. I knew who they were. Tyresö, I don't know who the hell you are. Like you have the most talented team in Sweden. Like I don't care what anyone says. This team has every position group. You have almost one or two all-stars in that position, in my opinion. And the fact that you can't consistently beat everybody by a lot upsets me because it means you're not playing to your potential. And I think this could be one of those games where if they get ahead in this game, they don't, keep the lead because they think that Limhamn's going to lay down. Limhamn's not going to lay down. Or if they don't get the lead early in this game and they let Limhamn hang around until the end of the game, they mess around. And, when they were playing against Carlstad, I never thought Carlstad was going to win that game. Like it felt like Tyresö was going to win that game, and then when you needed them to win it, they couldn't. The other team rose to the level, and I think Limhamn has a little bit of that in them. And I haven't seen Tyresö be consistent. Obviously, we've only seen them play 2 games, so it is what it is. But since I've only seen 2 games and they've been 2 different types of games, I'm gonna trust the team that I've seen 3 games and 2 of them have been very consistent. And I'm gonna go with Limhamn Griffins. I know it's gonna put me on an outlier, but I'm gonna go with the Griffins in this one.
I'm not mad at you for making this pick.
I had to do it.
Yeah,
I think I had to do it.
Yeah, you making me want to change my mind because now I'm looking at the numbers. Even though they played 2 games, they put up 77, but they've allowed 61 points. And for
the Vikings were in them. Like they beat the Vikings, but the Vikings were able to score. They just couldn't do it enough in that game. The Vikings scored 30-something points on them? 37?
Yeah, 36 or something like that. Or 37, yeah. 37.
It don't matter if that they scored 50. They shouldn't have let them score that many points. Their
And
defense
this is and Limhamn is that team where you were just saying where it's like if you let Limhamn hang around, that doesn't, even though you might be winning the game, that doesn't discourage them. That doesn't make them like that. That motivates them because they're like, yo, we're right here. We just need one or two things to go in our favor, and then we can come out with a win. So I don't know. I really do want to change my pick, but like
I changed my pick this morning. I've already written an article saying that Tyresö is going to win. That's like,
I can't.
I'm going with Limhamn.
Yeah, I don't know. Our record's atrocious anyway, so fuck it. I'm switching. I'm Limhamn.
Okay, all right. I converted them. Okay, that's what's up.
Switch it.
Juice, you want to join Dark Side? You want to join Dark Side?
I just don't think Limhamn is going to bring the right music to motivate them to win this game.
True. Yeah, it's a away game for them too. So like, they bus ride got to be A1.
I think it will. I'm picking Limhamn. I think. Yeah, I think they're going to be the team that's known as the Giant Killers, where like they're going to win. They're going to beat the top of the table versus the bottom of the table, and it's going to make us very angry throughout the whole season. It's like, yo, why are you winning against them, but you're losing against them? But
can we start calling them Purple People Eaters if they win? I like that name.
If they win, we call them whatever you want to call them. The Purple People Eaters, that's fine.
All right, let's get to the overtime.
Hey there, sports fans. Are you interested in exciting sports of American football, flag football, or field hockey? Well, look no further, because Suite 3, the sweetest association for these sports, has got you covered. Suite 3 is not just about games. They're about building a community, players of all ages and backgrounds coming together, supporting each other, and having an absolute blast on the field. Suite 3 is proud to be an advocate for the Swedish sports movement, where integrity and sportsmanship reign supreme. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, come join Suite 3 and experience the magic of sports like never before. Visit the Suite 3 website and get in on the action today. Suite 3, where passion meets purpose.
All right, that's it for this episode of Pro Football in Sweden, but this is our overtime. Anything we missed that we need to talk about, fellas? Juice, you got anything you want to throw in here?
But I had something on my brain, and I forgot all about it.
Antoine, jump in there so he can think while you're talking.
Man. Hey, man, this goes out to Örebro. Man. We haven't seen y'all play in a while. Y'all got the rare 2 bye weeks in a row, but hopefully y'all resting up this thing together, further understanding the landscape of this league and what you need to do to move up in the rankings or stay where you're at, because right now you're in a playoff spot. But hopefully they're doing all the right things. I don't put it past them, but hopefully they're getting their mind right.
For me, I'm a step away from Sweden. I'm gonna let y'all know, Maple League right around the corner, baby. Maple League right around the corner, and the video gonna be nice. You can find it on Route 2. Jersey's gonna be. Some teams got good ones, some got bad. It is what it is. But really interesting that Finland football is about to start up in about 2 weeks. Actually, this weekend the women's league starts. Shout out to Finland's Naiset Vatra Liga, Women's Maple League. I tried it. Naisten, sorry, not Naistedt, Naisten Vatra Liga. I think they have like 4 or 5 teams this year, but I'm excited that it's finally summer in parentheses if you're listening out here in Finland. So it's starting to be sunny. It was plus 18 yesterday. I think it's plus 18 today. Whew, made it through that winter. There's no spring here, so pretty much that's it. Alpha, you got anything you want to throw in there, or able to find out? Go ahead.
I forgot the other thing, but I had this thing in my notes. It was number 24 for Aikor. Hopefully it's number 24. They scored a touchdown, and he did his little fruity little hip dance, and I'm like, bro, that's a no-no. Don't do that. Don't do that again. I'm all for people dancing. I want to see more dances so we can post some more on Ballers International. You know what I'm saying? But that dance right there, it was like a no, buddy. No. And last thing, if y'all gonna be swaggy too, I saw shout out to Jacob Stenberg. He was a little swaggy on the field. let us know. Send in y'all photos so we can post it on the IG so we can shout y'all drip out there. We want to promote y'all drip. That's all I gotta say, man. Good luck to everybody who's playing this weekend. And as I always say, your film is your resume. So whatever you put on film, we gonna take that into our job and we're gonna apply it on here to the podcast. If you don't put nothing good on film, don't be mad at us when we call you out.
Okay. Oh yeah, I got one more thing. Yeah, hey, if you see us out in the streets and you be listening to the podcast, or if I'm playing in a game against you, hey man, if you like the podcast, let us know. Let me know in person. You know, it feels good. I mean, I'm still gonna dog you out in the field, but you know, hey man, appreciate you listening.
I want to jump in there too. You ain't gonna see me out in the streets because I don't even live in Sweden like that, and even in Finland, you don't see me out in the streets. I'm not a street life guy, but I'll be on the line. I'll be on the what is it? The Facebook, the Instagram. I have Snapchat, but I don't use it. I might be on TikTok, but don't hit me up on TikTok. I don't even understand it. I'm old. So I really don't get it. But
I was about to say you just aged yourself when you said the Facebook and the Instagram.
Oh, I love to call it that. I've been calling it that since it started, which is when it was called the Facebook. It used to be called thefacebook.com. I've been on it that long. But I like to say the line and the Facebook and stuff like that. That's my
you were killing on MySpace, huh?
Oh man. We get
the music playing on your page and everything.
Don't sidestep me. I had a rapping career on MySpace. People used to collab with me and everything. I don't know if you can find it, but my rapper name was V Pizzle. I went triple copper. I made I made one album. I made 3 CDs and I gave them away to 3 of my friends. So and that was all my MySpace career. I was on MySpace clicking them things. Me and Tom, we was like this. We was close. We was tight. Just mess with that guy. But yeah, good luck to all the teams this weekend. Obviously, we'll be here watching. And another thing, make the games worth watching because we watch all these games. This is 6 hours, more like 3.5 hours. I fast forward. I wait till after the game and watch it. But still, it's a lot of hours of my life. We out here watching. Y'all need to be out here playing. I don't need y'all out here just wasting time sometimes. And a lot of standing around, but that's because of all the penalties. But either way, we're going to be watching. We'll be back next week, giving you more insights and opinions. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe on all social channels at Pro Football Sweden. And until next time, we'll see you guys. Adios.
Deuces.
Later.